This is the Kevin Trudeau Show.
I am exposing the corruption in government and in major multinational corporations. We're telling you the things that they don't want you to know that will make your life better, right? Welcome, Kevin Trudeau here live. I am live, broadcasting live. It's Wednesday and we're live, and I'm really here. I'm not in an orange jumpsuit. I'm not in handcuffs and shackles. I'm not at the Metropolitan Correctional Center in Chicago taken into custody. Huge legal update coming. For those of you who are brand new to the show, like, what is he talking about? Well, free speech is under attack, and I'm just one of those guys who I believe the government is picking on because of what I'm saying. I'll talk more about that. But we have a great show today. Number one, I'm going to give you some legal updates, really important stuff. You're going to love this. And number two, I get a special guest from California, from Hollywood, from California, a major insider. I spent several days with him, private time together in California, and he agreed to come on the show. It's going to be great. So stay tuned. I got a special guest on the show. We're going to be talking about some things that you can use to help improve your life for the better, which is what all the show is about. And when you leave the show, you will feel better than you do right now. That I guarantee you. Well, number one, what's the legal update? I, Kevin Trudeau, as you know. Oh, by the way, there's a picture behind me. And for those of you who are new or those of you who have been watching the show, my team have found in archives and in castles and in monasteries and all these weird places, pictures, paintings of people that allegedly, through my DNA testing, could potentially be my ancestors, because and they say that there's a resemblance. So here's one we found in England, a nobleman, obviously, a very handsome nobleman, and they say that it looks like me. I don't see the resemblance, so I don't know. Anyway, here we are. I am back in court in 2 days on Friday. The Federal Trade Commission is constantly asking to have me put back in prison. And remember, I was in prison, I got a 10-year sentence for contempt of court. It's not a felony, it's not a misdemeanor. It's something called sui juriditis, which is the Latin phrase, and I could be mispronouncing it, which means a thing of its own. And I got the longest sentence in the history of the United States of America for contempt of court. Steve Bannon is in prison right now for contempt of court. Many other political people are in prison for contempt of court. We know that the government weaponizes the Department of Justice, and the government that's in power uses as a weapon against political opponents the Department of Justice, the IRS, the Federal Trade Commission, the Food and Drug Administration, the Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, FDA, FTC, all the ABC agencies they're called. We know this. Just go back to the Nixon tapes. Nixon says, what agency should we go after, use to go after our political opponents? It's right on the tape. It's the smoking gun. It's the absolute evidence. It's nothing new. It's always been done, and it'll probably always be done. It's done more in other countries. It's now blatant in the United States. I've exposed corporate and government corruption. A target has been put on my back. Silence this man. They're doing it to Alex Jones. They're doing it to Andrew Tate. They're doing it to Assange. They do it to hundreds of people that you haven't even heard of. People that are saying things that the government doesn't want you to know about. And the things that I'm sharing are things that will improve the quality of your life and make you happier and actually empower you. Oh, what a sin. What an evil SOB I am. I'm actually giving people tools, insider information, that can actually improve the quality of your life. Well, here we are today, and I am back in court on Friday. Now, last Friday, the judge made a ruling, and the ruling was 46 pages. And he said in there, amongst other things, that He is not going to incarcerate me at this time. But he emphatically says, I emphatically say to Mr. Trudeau that incarceration is not off the table, which means I have something overhanging me every day when I wake up. Will today be the day that the government decides to put me back in prison? How would you like to live with that? Interesting, isn't it? Well, when you're clear or free from some of the things that are going on within you and in your mind, and you're clear of that, outside influences just don't affect you. So the question is, what do I have to do in order to stay out of prison? And you know what the answer is? Pay the government more money faster. That's what they said. I'm not paying fast enough, which means I'm not working hard enough. Indentured servant? I guess that's what I am. I guess I'm the first and only person in the history of America that has a debt to pay to the government, and the government is ordering to work as an indentured servant and turn over 100% of what I earn to them and keep only $3,750 a month to live on. It's mind-boggling. Mind-boggling. But here's the good news. I'm back in court on Friday. And in the last few days, since I've made some appeals to you, many of you have stepped up. You've gone to the Kevin Trudeau Fan Club website. You've gone to KevinTrudeauFanClub.com. You've made a donation, a contribution. Many of you have become partners. Many of you have partners have upgraded your membership. I am providing this information to the judge on Friday. And I know that if I can come up with $1 million, I will not be going to prison. And I believe that I can get this thing behind me very quickly. So before I go into our guest today, I'm going to ask, if you want to keep me free, go to KevinTrudeauFanClub.com, make a contribution of any amount. It's going to go to the government. If you are not a partner, become a partner. You can read all the benefits there for partnership. You get a lot of value and benefits by becoming a partner. If you are a partner, go to the website and up your level of partnership if you can. At least make some type of one-time contribution, because I'm going to show the judge on Friday, and I have a meeting this afternoon after the show. As soon as the show is done, I leave and I have a meeting with the lawyers and the Federal Trade Commission. And I have to show them the numbers. Here's how many people have just made contributions. And keep me free, and they'll continue to come in, and we'll get this paid off soon. It's up to you. I need your help. Put it out there. Everything will work out fine. You will get the blessings, because by giving, you'll be activating the law of giving and receiving. It's all on the website. You get the giving lessons for free. You get monthly Zoom calls with me for free. You get energy work for me done for free, which are prayers. There's so much value. You get access to the partner area of the website at KevinTrudeau.com. So go to KevinTrudeauFanClub.com. Make a contribution of any amount. And if there's somebody out there that can make a contribution of $100,000 or $500,000 or $10,000 or $50,000, do so. I'll pick up the phone, then I'll call you, I'll thank you, and I'll give you not only blessings, but also give you a whole host of benefits that you and I will talk about. What can I do for you? I will give you back, believe me. I'm trying to get $1 million in the next 2 days. That's the goal. We'll see what happens. But as of right now, I will be here on Monday. And I will be making sure I inform you. And if for some reason something sideways happens, which I don't anticipate now, but if something sideways happens, somebody will go on the Telegram channel and on this channel and inform you. So you'll know what the updates are. There'll be somebody else. If somebody else is sitting in this chair on Monday, then you know something very fun and exciting and adventurous has happened to me. So everything will work out fine. All right, so my guest today, and I'm so excited to have this guest. This is going to give you some information that's going to positively empower you and help you in every aspect of your life, because it revolves around a tool, something that you use every single day constantly. And if you can do this better, every single aspect of your life will get better. So who's my guest? My guest is a man by the name of Roger Love. He is the #1 voice coach in the world. He works with half of Hollywood. And I was blessed to spend 2 full days with him working on my instrument, my voice. He's been recently working with Tom Brady for many, many sessions and a whole host of others. I want to show you a video of what he does and who he's worked with, just so you know how impressive this guy is. Let's take a look at this video.
Did you get singing lessons for it?
Oh yeah, for the movie? Oh yeah, Roger Love, this incredible vocal coach. I worked with him 5 days a week for months, yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Last time you were here, we talked about your singing. Billy Crudup and I had to go get singing lessons with this man named Roger Love, who is a singing teacher, and I fell in love with it. We both had so much fun.
What is a voice coach?
Well, what I do as a voice coach is I help people create sounds that achieve their desired goals.
When the biggest stars in the world need to find their true voice, they turn to one expert. And no other voice coach in history has been more commercially successful than Roger Love.
For this, they've got me some lessons with a very lovely man called Roger Love.
Roger trains one-on-one with the music and film industry's top artists and celebrities. He's Hollywood's go-to guy.
I will be going to vocal exercises, vocal warming up with my coach. He's amazing.
Still say the words. I was looking in the mirror, trying to find the way you know.
Trying to find.
I was looking in the mirror, trying to find.
Roger has personally trained superstars like Gwen Stefani, Nick Jonas, John Mayer, Eminem, Demi Lovato, and Maroon 5. His vocal secrets can be heard on hit television series like Scrubs, Entourage, Glee, The Voice, and American Idol.
Don't play with me, 'cause you're playing with fire.
And when the film industry needs to turn actors into singers, they call the best in the business.
Hello, I'm Johnny Cash.
His work with the stars of Walk the Line helped earn an Oscar nomination for Joaquin Phoenix and a Best Actress win for Reese Witherspoon.
Never coming back.
And Roger's vocal direction on the film Crazy Heart garnered Oscars for Best Song and for actor Jeff Bridges.
And I especially want to thank Roger Love, man.
But it's not just about singing. Roger is also a master of speech and influence, training some of the most famous speakers in the world. From Oscar-winning actors and TV hosts, to motivational speakers, to one of the most successful high-performance coaches in history.
Roger is the world's #1 vocal coach. The world's #1. There is no second, third, or fourth. He's the guy.
Roger continues to bring his expert vocal techniques and voice coaching to the business world, training top corporate executives and entrepreneurs. He can make anyone's voice better, having vocally produced 100 million CD sales worldwide, written 3 top-selling books, and appeared as a regular in 4 major network shows. He is the industry's most celebrated voice coach.
I'm working to change the world for the better, one voice at a time.
Roger Love, the world's #1 vocal coach.
That's so impressive. Let's welcome Roger Love. Do we have applause? Do we have applause? Roger Love, Roger Love. No, we have no applause. Roger and I will applaud each other. There we go. There it is. Here's the audience, the live studio audience, which I don't have. Roger.
Good morning, Kevin.
So great afternoon here, morning in your time in California. So great to have you.
Thank you for having me.
So great to have, man, I'm so excited. I loved my time with you. It was fantastic. You are an absolute genius, and I told you that many, many times. I have a question for you right off the giddy up. You don't teach people just how to sing, you teach them how to speak properly too, right?
Absolutely. I realized a long time ago that there's very little difference between speaking and singing. And you basically have control over pitch, how high or low you go, pace, how fast or slow you go, tone, are you airy or are you edgy, volume and melody for singing or speaking. And I spent 17 years, decades ago, becoming a great singing coach. And then speakers like Tony Robbins and actors like Reese Witherspoon started coming to me, and they asked me to work on their speaking voices. So over the years, I've just mirrored the two. I've merged the two. So when people come to me, I listen to their voice, I make them great speakers, and I make them great singers.
Can anyone learn how to sing?
Yes. And what's funny is
nobody believes that. Nobody believes that, right?
I know,
CJ's over there going, I can't.
Here's why it's true. There are millions of people around the world who believe that they're tone deaf. But let me give you a little example for the people that are watching right now. Here's your test of being tone deaf. I'm going to sing Happy Birthday, and you think in your head, is this the melody that I grew up with and then ate cake after? Happy birthday to you, happy birthday. I'll stop there.
That's the one I sang.
If any one of your listeners realized that that wasn't exactly the melody of Happy Birthday that you've heard, you're not tone deaf. Tone deaf would have meant my happy birthday would have sounded like this. Happy birthday to you. You wouldn't have heard any tones. That's why it's called tone deaf. None of you are tone deaf unless you had some damage to your ear when you were an infant. Some of you are tone lazy. You haven't figured out how to get your voice to go to the same place that Stevie Wonder can, or anybody that you love, but everybody can learn to be a better singer or speaker.
Okay, so we're going to come back to singing in a minute, but let's talking about speaking, because there are people out there that still are not convinced that they can learn how to sing. But there's so many people, when I talk to them, do you wish you could sing? Oh, yes, I wish I could sing a little, but I can't sing a note. Okay, we're going to talk about that in a minute. But let's talk about speaking, because speaking is something everybody does, whether in business, talking to a colleague, even if they're not a professional speaker. Why does the average person need to improve their speaking skills if they're not a professional speaker?
Here's a perfect reason. Most people hate the sound of their own voice. When they hear it played back on a recording, they cringe. Ugh, that's me. I sound so nasal, or I sound so weak, or I sound so young, or I sound so old. Most people don't like it. And most people think that they're stuck with their own voice that they don't love. I tell people that you weren't born with a voice. You were born with an instrument. It's like your grandmother gave you a Steinway grand piano and you moved all the furniture out in your living room so that you could put it there. And then you have to decide, is it going to be a frame holder, or is it going to make music? Can I touch the keys, and can I make beautiful music? People are born with an instrument. Nobody teaches them how to play it. I didn't get a manual. There wasn't one in my crib. I don't think you got one. I thought my parents were just poor and we couldn't afford one. I realized later, there is no manual for the voice. So I basically started writing it at a very young age. Because when you find your voice, when you can make your voice sound the way you love it, other people will love it. And voice is the most powerful communication tool we have. And yet people, humans, have become less and less and less able to use their voices to move people emotionally, to achieve the things they want in life. How do you get the life you want? One conversation at a time. How are you going to have great conversations that lead to a better life? if you don't even like the way that you sound?
If you work with somebody and improve the quality of their voice, you've worked with thousands and thousands of people over the decades. Will they develop more affinity with the people that they are speaking with? Will they be better persuaders? Will they get more people to like them?
Fear of speaking in public is the number one fear in America. You'd think it would be something more dangerous. The saying goes that if you were asked to speak and say the eulogy at someone's funeral, you'd rather be dead than the one speaking the speech. So the voice is what makes you feel special about you. When people hear you, they make value judgments about you. Are you smart? Are you truthful, honest? Are you powerful? Should I be in this conversation at all? Should I buy your product? Should I be your friend? They make all these judgments, all based on the sounds that you make, not so much the words. The brain processes for emotion, and sounds are emotional, but words are not. So when you find your voice, people want to talk to you. When they want to talk to you, that gives you the opportunity to have more conversations that lead to better relationships, personal and in business. People are graduating from schools and technical places, and they can't get the jobs they're qualified for because they can't even talk their way through the job interview. With all the texting and with all the emails and with everything that's happening, ChatGPT will write for you. Now we have programs that'll speak for you. Humans have lost so much of what makes them special, an emotional voice that they use to get what they want.
Now, when we were together, you told me something very fascinating, that there's pitch, or was it tone, and most people speak in this range. They don't go up and down. But then you also said, when you look at guys who have no problem meeting girls, their voice patterns are different. And when you find people that have no problem making friends, their speech patterns are different. Tell me about that.
It's what I call melody. So when most people speak, they just stay on one note, and that's the note that they're in all the time. But you wouldn't really buy a song if it only had one note, because you'd be bored after 3 or 4 seconds and you'd want your money back. But most people, when they speak, they just stay on that one note. It's called monotone. Maybe when they get really excited, like, oh, I just won the lottery, and then they come back to the same note, but I'm not going to share the money with anybody else. So there are 88 keys on an average piano, 90 on a Bosendorfer. And with 88 keys, that's a lot of notes. Now, we can't hit all 88, but we could hit at least 36. And the average male and female, when they speak, they're hitting maybe 2 or 3 notes. So when you have monotone and you stay on the same notes, you sound instantly boring to the people you're talking to. They think they know what you're going to sound like next, and then they think they know what you're going to say next and how you're going to make them feel, and then they can't wait to either fall asleep or talk to somebody else. So what I've learned by teaching and by experiencing is that when you have melody, the notes go up and they go down. There's a pattern to the melody. When people hear melody, it makes you sound so much more interesting. It makes you sound less sad. It makes you sound happy. So melody, lots of notes, just like the songs you love listening to. You need to put that into your speaking voice, and you'd be surprised how much easier it is to make every relationship special.
You know, I was trained in that back in the early 70s in the Brotherhood when I was learning communication skills. I've never read that in any book. I've never heard it from any communication expert. I've never heard it from any speaking expert, any vocal expert. You are the only other person I've ever heard talk about that, and it is so significant. So if there was just one thing a person watching were to change in their speaking patterns, is to use melody, which means speak on different notes, and thus instantaneously, they're going to be a better, more persuasive communicator. And if they're a single guy, they'll be able to get women to like them better. If they're a single woman, they'll get guys to like them better. If they're married, their relationship will be better because there'll be instant increase in affinity because the communication goes up, correct?
100%. And even more specifically, most people are doing what we said, monotone, staying on the same note, or they're going down. They get to a comma and they go down. It's my birthday. Nobody brought me any presents. Don't you want to go out? We'll go get water. When I do descending scales, going from high to low, it makes me sound so sad. My name is Roger Love. Oh, what's the matter with Roger Love? So not only is monotone bad, descending scales going down at commas and periods makes you sound so depressed. Who wants to be around depressed people? I would love to surround myself with happy, grateful people, no matter what their circumstance is. They can be happy and grateful no matter how much money they have in their pocket at that moment. So stop doing monotone, stop doing descending scales, going down at commas and periods, and here's the main secret. Go up ascending scales. Forget about it sounding like a question. When you go up, my name is Roger Love. I'm friends with Kevin. Today's an amazing day. That's not a question, it's a statement. Stop thinking going up is only if you have a question. Use ascending melodies. People will say, oh, it's not only so nice to meet you, I'm going to pay for dinner. Oh, by the way, I'm going to take you on vacation. Oh, by the way, I'm going to invest in your next product. By the way, I like you. You want to be friends? Yes, I want to be friends. So ascending melodies, going up, makes you sound happy, makes other people happy to talk and listen to you.
Australians end their sentences up. Tell me about, and research shows that when somebody meets an Australian, they instantly like them. They say, I don't know what it is about those Aussies, but I like that person. Do you think that that's one of the major reasons why? Because that's very subconscious and very psychological, correct?
Yeah. It's one of the reasons that Australians sound so friendly because of the ascending melodies. They do a little bonus thing, which is a slide. Good day, okay, mate. So they slide from the low note, go, it's okay. The slide can sometimes be awkward if you're not in Australia talking to another Australian. So I'm not up for the slide, but I am up for the ascending scale. So instead of going, today's my birthday, you say, today's my birthday. I'm happy. I'm happy. So without the slide, you get all the benefits of the ascending melodies, you sounding happy, making other people sound happy. It literally releases dopamine in the brains of the listener when they hear happy melodies, ascending scales, you going up. They physically and emotionally get happier.
Why do you think so many people are afraid of public speaking? I mean, you've worked with so many people, public speakers, celebrities, movie stars, all types, sports athletes, you name it.
Because doesn't feel good when you think of what you might say. Honey, will you marry me? And they say, no, I don't even like you. Marriage, ugh, I never want to talk to you again. When you express how you feel and people judge you harshly, or they disagree, it hurts. Even the strongest ego does not like it when other people judge them harshly. So we're afraid of what other people think. But it's mostly our own fault because the sounds that we make control how other people feel about us. And if you can make people love listening to you, if you can showcase the happy, grateful part of you, the interesting part of you, the caring part of you, the loving part of you, they won't judge you harshly. They may disagree with your politics, but they'll still like you as a person. So if you want to get rid of the fear of speaking in public, Control the perceptions of others. Show the best of you. Use your voice to make sure that their reaction to you is positive.
And if you trained the voice, if a person has their voice trained, their confidence level automatically goes up.
Only a 1,000,000%, because
and you've seen that firsthand with people who come in who maybe say, oh, I'm an introvert or I'm shy, and they go through your training, they get a powerful voice, and all of a sudden they go, you know something? I'm no longer an introvert. I'm no longer shy. Well, they were never an introvert or shy in the beginning, right?
We're all blends of introvert and extrovert. The most famous stars that I teach, the Bradley Coopers, the Brad Pitts, the Angelina Jolies, the Joaquin Phoenixes, the Reese Witherspoons, the most famous, so many actors, they are all part introvert and part extrovert. You could be on vacation with them and they would say nothing for 5 hours at a time unless they wanted to speak. We're all a blend. But when we open up our mouths to speak, we have to find our outer voice, our presentation voice, a voice that immediately sounds like confidence. You have to be louder. You have to be stronger. You have to make the sounds of confidence, and people will believe you are confident. So it's sort of like acting. But what I'm telling you is when you learn the sounds of confidence and you bounce them off of other people and they all appreciate you, it's really easy to become confident when everyone appreciates you on that level.
When I meet people, one of the things I notice with their voice is, number one, they're low talkers. Remember that from Seinfeld? Oh, she's a low talker. What? I didn't quite hear you. Oh, I'm coming soon. So there's the low talker, and then there's the person who's trying to speak loud, but they have this weak, airy voice, and they can't project. So explain those two phenomena.
Volume has become almost like public enemy number one, because when people are loud, they're so afraid that they're going to sound angry, and nobody likes having anger sent at them. So nobody likes to be yelled at. So people are afraid of volume being anger. But the sound of anger isn't just volume. The sound of anger has three main elements. One, yes, volume. Two, monotone, because I don't have time to go to a bunch of notes. I'm so mad. I'm just sticking with this one note. And the third thing is faster pace. When I'm angry, I speak faster. So I speak fast, I don't have any melody at all, and I'm louder. If you do all those three things together, you sound angry. Don't do those. If you don't do all three, if you're just louder, but you have melody, if you're louder and you don't rush, you'll never sound angry. You'll just sound passionate. You'll just sound confident. So to compensate this idea that people don't know the actual recipe of the sounds of anger, they're just whispers. And we've all gotten into this idea that, well, maybe if I just was softer and I had more air, maybe more air would show people that I care more. But more air doesn't mean I care more. More air means I'm weak. Drive right over my ideas. Don't listen to me. I'm not confident. Air dissipates in the air. It has no effect on people. So the airiness is based on fear of anger, but volume with melody never sounds angry. And some of the other voices, like, people don't understand that the vocal cords need to be trained. So great speaking happens when the right amount of air meets the right amount of vocal cord vibration. But that sounds so technical. But really simply, the right breathing is breathe in through your nose, because that's the way you were born. Pretend you have a balloon in your stomach, because that helps. And then when you speak, only speak while your stomach is coming in. If everybody just breathed in through their noses, let their tummies come forward, and then only spoke when their stomach was coming in, they'd have volume. They'd engage the cords differently. So it's really simple. I break down all of the complications into simple things. Stop breathing through your mouth. It's making your throat dry. Breathe in through your nose. Speak louder. Add melody. Simple stuff.
Now, we were talking about Frank Sinatra and we were singing some Frank Sinatra songs when I was there, much to my surprise and glee, to actually sing a little after just a little bit of time with your training. But you had mentioned that Sinatra, I think when he was with the Tommy Dorsey band, right? Or was it Glenn Miller?
I think he sang with a lot of bands, but I don't know which ones.
Okay, yeah. When he first started off, I think it was Tommy Dorsey, and they asked him how he was such a great singer, and Dorsey, because he blew the trumpet, had to breathe. And that's where Frank said, I learned breath control by breathing in through the nose, expanding the stomach, and then sing while exhaling. I mean, what you just said, Sinatra said, was the secret to his spectacular voice and being able to sing into his 80s.
And you and I also spoke about this when we were here. You said, what makes Sinatra's voice so interesting, so stylish? And I said, other singers were listening to the pianist, and they were making their voice sound like just like a piano, one note, then another note. And Frank Sinatra was listening to the trumpets, and they were going, they were syncopated. There were slides. That's life. And he started imitating the trumpet sounds with his voice. And everybody was like, wow, didn't think of that. I was trying to imitate what the piano was doing. So actually, he imitated the trumpets, and it changed the way he phrased music.
Let's talk about that no air or airy voice. When you say airy, it's actually, they're not bringing up enough air, correct? Because they're not powerful. They're whispering, and if it's like they're, okay, explain that a little bit more.
Yeah. Most people are holding their breath when they're speaking. Literally, I ask everybody who's listening to this show right now to take their hand and put it on their stomach, okay? And then count to 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Do it again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Most people's tummies didn't move at all, didn't go out, didn't go in. It's like trying to play an accordion without going out and going in. It's like trying to play the trumpet without breathing in and then blowing out. You're holding your breath when you're speaking, but then trying to get some sound out. But because you're holding your breath, you try to push out air that you don't even have because you didn't fill up the lungs with it. So airy voice really is from you holding your breath because you can't get any power from the air actually coming out the way it's supposed to.
When a person speaks, we'll call it properly, with volume, with melody, and we're going to talk about edge in a minute, instantaneously when they start speaking, something changes on the inside of that person. They become and feel more confident. And the people that they're speaking to are impacted in a dramatically different way. They look at you as powerful, confident, secure, determined, committed, and likable. So there's this amazing connection. You've seen this, correct?
Yes.
So this is something that's real and happens, and you see it sometimes within a few hours.
Look, you're a very confident speaker, and I tweaked your voice when you were here, and it made you feel next level confident. It made you heard yourself in a way that was even more powerful than all of the power that you'd had up until that point. It even shifted you. So you like your voice and you have an amazing voice, but imagine that you're in the 1% of the population that has used their voice in a way to turn it into music, to turn it into an influence tool, to really showcase how strong you are and how caring you are and how knowledgeable you are. So when we hear ourselves, we're not hearing what other people hear because we're hearing inside of our bodies. It's called bone conduction. When I speak, my skull kind of vibrates on the inside and parts of my head vibrates. So I think, wow, I have such a thick and strong, powerful voice because I feel it. But the other people don't feel what's happening inside your skull. They only hear the amount of sound that managed to trickle out of your mouth, and maybe a tiny bit got over to where they were 2 or 3 feet away. But most of it didn't even get to them. So when you hear yourself differently, and when other people hear yourself differently, you're part of this energy where sound comes out of you and it bounces on the walls and it fills the room, and you realize, that's me? Wow, I am stronger and smarter and better than I was when I was just holding my breath. And when other people hear me and they react to it and they open up and they speak stronger and louder and more authentically, the feeling is confidence both ways, a real conversation where you showcase how you really feel, where people receive it and decide whether they feel that way or not, and then share how they feel. You can't get that with an improper voice, improper communication. You can only get that if you share the best of your voice.
Now, one of the things you did, which was very impressive, I mentioned that I was trained in vaudeville, which there's no microphones, you're on stage, and you have to project your voice to the entire audience, which it can be 100 feet, 200 feet, and you're trying to talk to the person at the back of the room without screaming. You did a beautiful demonstration where you stood right in front of me and you said a few words and you kept backing up all the way to the other end of the room. It didn't seem like you raised your volume, but I heard you as clearly when you were all the way at the other end of the room compared to when you were just in front of me. And you were giving me an example of when you have a trained voice, it will project. When it projects, when a person can speak with that type of projection, that frequency or vibration that comes out seems to have a bigger physical impact on the people that you're speaking to, because it's like you have this booming power without yelling. Yes or no?
Yes. Brilliant, brilliant summation. When I speak, sound waves come out of my mouth. By the way, this isn't woo-woo. This is true-hoo. Sound waves are invisible. You can't see them. You don't see the sound coming out of speakers, but be at a rock concert and walk past those giant speakers and you'll be blown over because of the amount of air coming out. When I speak, sound is supposed to ride out of my mouth, carrying all the vibrations, carrying all the words, carrying all the frequencies, and it's supposed to vibrate your body. That sound is supposed to hit your body. So speaking isn't just a sound connection, it's a physical connection. And when you are making sound that vibrates other people's bodies, that is a connection that cannot be replicated any other way. It's like you're touching them. They feel you.
You're giving away all my secrets of communication. No, it's fantastic. And when I was with you, obviously Donnie introduced us. I said, this guy is a genius because I haven't met anyone who knows this stuff. It was just brilliant. You work with Tom Brady. He was the GOAT, professional football player in America, quarterback, and now he's a broadcaster. Why would a guy like Tom Brady, who's just on TV with a microphone broadcasting, why would he need a voice coach like you, and why would he need to go through your training?
Because everyone should be on a journey to be the best they can be. Tom was on a journey to be the best quarterback he could be. That's what made him the GOAT. When he just literally stepped in at Fox to co-host the Sunday NFL show, he wants to be the best announcer. So working on your voice to suit the job that you have at hand. He wants to be the best. All my students want to be the best. Each of us should want to be the best.
And he'll connect with more people if he uses his voice properly versus if he used it like he always had used it, because it wasn't trained. Correct?
Not trained as much as his arm.
Right.
Right?
I mean, he could speak, I mean, he could speak, but what you're saying is, sure, he could speak and go on there and do the show. But if he trains his voice, he can go on there and do the show and have a much bigger impact and create a more affinity with more of the viewers and listeners than if he didn't.
Absolutely. And that it's a process. And that each of us learns to speak for what we need to achieve. I've learned to speak, and I managed to speak to my wife, and we've been married for over 3 decades. So the level of my communication and how I speak as a husband is successful because it maintains the relationship and built the relationship. I have that relationship voice that I use with my wife. If I spoke to my kids like that, they wouldn't do anything. They would just lay around and binge Netflix. So I have to have another way of communicating that works as a father. If I use the relationship voice on the weekends when I go out and play basketball with my buddies and I talk to them like I'm married to them, they do full court press and they guard me and they foul me as if I was some danger to them. We have to create ways of communicating that work for who we are, all the different parts of our lives.
Okay, couple of things just to recap. Number one, if a person wants to be a better communicator, if they want people to like them more, if you're a single guy and you want to get more dates, if you're a single gal, you want to get more dates, if you want to have a better relationship with your spouse, a better relationship with your kids, if you want to persuade more people, if you want to appear smarter, more intelligent, more confident, if you want to get more promotions, you use your voice properly. And basically you said, number one, increase volume. Number two, increase air so that it's stronger voice. Next, melody, as opposed to just monotone. Next, at the end, go up. Did I do that right?
Yeah.
And you also talked about have different voice patterns for different scenarios. One with the spouse, one with the kids, one with the coworkers, etc.
But it's easy to do that because it's like if I can sing and I just decide I want to sing a rock and roll song, I'll sing the rock and roll song. If I want to sing a country song, I'll do that. If I'm in a place of worship and I want to sing a worship song, I'll do that. Once you find your voice, you immediately can fit into all of those situations. So I'm breaking down barriers. You'll be able to speak to across gender lines. You'll be able to speak to young people and old people, and they will feel emotionally connected to you because of your voice.
You will connect with more people.
Yes, and your confidence level, which again, I can't stress that more.
That changes everything. And when you do it properly,
confident,
yeah, it changes everything when your confidence goes up.
You can achieve anything in life.
Yeah. And when you're speaking properly, when you simply just learn how to use your voice, speak properly, the vibration, as you mentioned, when you speak, it comes out of your mouth into your ear, but most of it goes up to the bone and it goes into the brain. So if you speak properly, that vibration is dramatically different. It has a physiological change in the body, hormonal changes, how you feel about yourself, self-image, self-esteem, confidence, all goes up. That resonates, has a different frequency. So when you're walking into a party, everybody looks at you differently, even before you even speak, because of the way you've spoken previously that day. And nobody knows these secrets better than you do. You do. Two last things. You mentioned the breath. So this is another free tidbit, everyone. Breathe in through the nose, stomach goes out, and when you speak, the stomach goes in like a bellow. Lastly, I told you I'd bring this up, edge. Tell us the importance of speaking with edge.
When the vocal cords vibrate, it creates a sound that then comes out of the mouth, and the air carries that sound out. So the vocal cords have to vibrate a certain way to make great sound. When you speak airy and hold your breath, the vocal cords hardly vibrate. When you make this sound, can, edge, Kevin. When you say edge, you'll feel like a vibration in the back part of your throat. No edge, edge. Most people shy away from that sound because they think it's harsh. But you actually need some of that edge to get the voice out of here and out to the people who want to hear you. So you need to mix in some of that edge sound. So practice saying the word can and make it sound like can instead of can. And then say I can instead of I can. Then say I can if I want. See how it had edge all the way through? Practice adding that edge while your stomach is coming in with melody, and you will have a voice that makes people hang on every word you say and want to hear more.
We're running out of time. You're actually at the studio that I was at, right?
Yeah.
And that's the same studio Joaquin was at, right? Joaquin Phoenix?
Yes, I have a big premiere coming up.
That's right. You trained him for the movie The Joker, right?
That's right. Joker Part 2, which premieres in about a week or so. And there is singing in this film. Lady Gaga and Joaquin are in this film, and there is singing. And not like a traditional musical where people break into song, but singing that happens as part of the mental state of the character. Part of his psychosis is that sometimes sound comes out that's attached to melodies that are even more emotional than just speaking. So it's a new twist. It's a non-musical that involves a musicality to the voice that is really emotional.
And you were on the set training Joaquin, correct? And he came to your studio as well, right?
Yes, of course.
Yeah, I mean, again, you've worked with half of Hollywood. You know everybody. The guy, you're like a legend, a legend. We're running out of time. We're running out of time. If people come like I did and actually were lucky enough to be in your studio with you, you charge like $1 million a day. I know that. So, and you're worth it.
Slightly less than $1 million.
You're worth it. And I appreciate you not charging me that. That was very sweet of you. But you do have like some home study courses too as well with some of the training?
Absolutely. My goal, I'm proud that I've spoken at the United Nations 3 times in the last year and a half. And you think, why would a voice coach speak at the United Nations? Well, it's because I realized that people all over the world have so many differences, and we can't agree on religion or politics or other things. But if we could make sounds that we could all agree on that were emotional, we could come together, that the voice would save the world. So I'm just on a simple path to save the world, one voice at a time. And there's plenty of voices who can't afford $1 gazillion to be in person with me. So I still want to change the world. As a matter of fact, I brought a gift today for anyone that is interested. If you were moved today by what you heard, if you want to speak, or if you want to sing, or if you want to do both, and like I said, something that Kevin said or something that I said may have inspired you to realize that you can do it, I came with a gift. You can go to voiceplace.com/Kevin, voiceplace.com/Kevin, and you can get $50 off my perfect voice collection just for listening. It's voiceplace.com/Kevin. We'll put it in the chat here, and you can go and decide if you want to learn how to speak, you want to learn how to sing. Programs that are incredibly affordable. $50 will almost get you the whole program. So go to voiceplace.com/Kevin and make this idea that you're tone deaf fly out the window. Make this idea that you're an introvert fly out the window. Make this idea of you not being able to showcase confidence fly out the window. Let it be that when you open up your mouth, the sounds that come out move people emotionally and connect them with you. That's the goal.
Trey, keep that up there. Keep that up there. For those who are watching, I very rarely, if ever, recommend somebody else's program, because I go through them, I test them, and I'm thinking, it's okay. This is what, and you know me, I never recommend people's programs. Speaking the art of communication starts with the instrument. And I was lucky very early on to have some basic training in this, and Roger is taking me to a different level. And I spent 2 full days with him in that little studio there. We would take a little lunch break where we'd walk up on Sunset Boulevard in Hollywood and have a beautiful lunch that he actually paid for. And I appreciate that very much as well. But his training is just something special. When you know how to use the instrument, when you train the instrument, every aspect of your life can get better. And for fun, if you do want to sing at karaoke night or just sing for fun with some sing-alongs, you can. And he had me singing some Sinatra songs, and I'm telling you what, I had a blast. Clearly not perfect, but he got Joaquin Phoenix to be able to sing. The guy couldn't sing anything. And he got him singing like Johnny Cash in the movie. So that training came directly from Roger. And also Chris Christopherson too, right? In The Star Is Born?
No, Bradley Cooper.
Bradley Cooper,
and that
that's
movie
right.
you're talking about was called A Walk the Line. That was 17 years ago with Joaquin Phoenix and Reese Witherspoon.
That's right. So he's trained all these people who never sang a note in their life, and he trained them, and they're doing movies, and you're watching going, wow, what a great voice. Well, that great voice came from zero at the same spot you're at, and they're singing spectacular because of Roger. He is something very, very special. So go to voiceplace.com/Kevin, $50 gift certificate or discount on any of the programs you buy there. Highly endorsed and recommended. We're going to have Roger on again in the future because I do want to talk more about singing. Roger, time is up, but I thank you so much for spending your time with us today, giving all these secrets that people, I think, will use to improve their life. And it's been a pleasure. And I'll be seeing you soon next time I come out to LA.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. I appreciate you having me.
Thanks, Roger. Love you, buddy. Bye-bye.
Love you, buddy.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that. Roger is a special guy. And people always ask me, what's the secret of my communication skills? Well, I just gave you some for free. Before we go, just remember, I am back in court on Friday. I anticipate that today and tomorrow and Friday morning, people will be going to KevinTrudeauFanClub.com, making a contribution, signing up as a partner so I can show those numbers to the judge, and that is going to make the difference. So to keep me free, and I will immediately put a message up on Telegram after that hearing, letting you know what happened. But things are moving, and I can tell you right now, your support has and is making an amazing positive difference. Things are turning, I believe. Things are turning, and it's strictly 100% coming from the numbers of you that are going to KevinTrudeauFanClub.com and making a one-time contribution, an emergency contribution, whether it's $100 or $50 or $10 or $1,000 or $5,000. And if you make a large contribution, I will pick up the phone and call you, thank you personally, and I will say, what can I do for you? So you'll be giving a gift, yes, but I will be giving a gift back to you more than you could ever imagine. So if anybody could make a large emergency contribution, please do so. I'm back in court on Friday. That's not going to be the end of it. I'll be back in court probably again next week because I think that these numbers are what is turning the tables and turning the tide. It's very exciting. I hope you're as excited as much as I am, and I hope you feel better now than you did when we started the show. I'm Kevin Trudeau. I'll give you an update on the Telegram. If you're not on Telegram, get on the Kevin Trudeau Fan Club Telegram channel. I'll give you an upgrade on Telegram on Friday. And fingers crossed, fingers crossed, fingers crossed, I'll be seeing you live on Monday as well. Much love to everybody. We'll see you soon.